Hello everyone. Welcome Noora Shamsi Bahar, the winner of the Tagore Award for translated short fiction from Bengali. Congratulations, Noora.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So Noora translated the story Then As I Kept Going by Dr. Shahaduzzaman, and which was really appreciated and came out the top on the translation award. So, Noora, one question that the Antonym team would like to ask you is, what attracted you towards translation, and when and how did you start with this craft?
Uh, it's a funny story, actually. All of my life I went to English medium schools, and I remember when I was in grade six, I barely used to manage to get passing marks in Bengali. And when I was in grade six, during the final examination of the Bengali subject, I remember I had written one sentence, and I looked around, and my classmates had written entire page. So I was just that slow. And Bengali, the script itself seemed very cryptic to me. Um, that's mainly because my parents are Iranians, so my mother tongue is not Bengali. They actually settled down in Bangladesh before I was born. So I was born and raised here, but it was difficult learning three languages at the same time. And fast forward to 2018, 3 years ago, I participated in a creative writing workshop that was organized by ULAB, University of Liberal Arts, Bangladesh. And one of the sessions was on translation. So during that session, I remember we were asked to translate a few lines from a Bengali poem. And I thought that was a really fun activity. So soon after that workshop, I got to know about the Harville Secker Young Translators Prize. And this is an annual award that focuses on a different language every year. So for that year, for 2018, the language that was chosen was Bengali. So I attempted to translate the Bengali short story that was given to the contestants, but unfortunately, by the time I finished the translation, I realized that it was too late because they actually wanted us to send the translation by post. I had assumed that they would accept online submissions. So instead, it got published in the Daily Star, which is the largest circulating English newspaper in Bangladesh. And, that's where my journey actually began. Um, I'm not very well read in Bengali, but when I translate, I take a long time thinking about each sentence and how I can best express it in English. So for me, it's not really a mechanical process, it's a creative process. And this sort of creative outlet, it really makes me feel productive and motivated.
Hey, thanks, Noora. That's very interesting. So neither Bengali nor English are your mother tongue.
So
Yeah. And still your translation, which was very accomplished one, and you did from Bengali, right? It's amazing with
thank
the
you.
background and the story. But one immediate question that crops up in my mind is with the fact that you may not be and I'm assuming that may not be reading a lot in Bengali literature because of your background that you say. Then what was your approach in selecting the story or stories for that matter that you translated? Because as I know, you have submitted two beautiful stories for this competition.
With the particular story that won the award, I had actually translated one other short story by Shahaduzzaman sir, and I really loved it. So when I came across this translation competition that was organized by the Antonym, I contacted him. I contacted Shahaduzzaman sir, and I told him about the Tagore Award, and I asked him if he has any untranslated short stories for me. So he sent me 4, and I picked Tarpor Jete Jete, and I told him why I picked it. So I wrote to him, and I told him this quote: "It's very local and folklorish, but the narrator's presence makes it seem like contemporary fiction with references to Facebook, Twitter, and even pizza." And then he got back to me and he said, quote, "I am pleased to know that you have selected Tarpor Jete Jete. Actually, this is the story I wanted to recommend to you. You rightly said that it has a blend of folklore and contemporary issues." So basically, we both wanted this particular story to be translated and submitted as an entry to this translation competition. But in generally speaking, I don't really choose stories based on any particular genre. Like I have translated stories that fall under historical fiction, surrealism, magic realism, and many other genres. So I'm not very choosy, I suppose.
Okay, but I think probably the stories that may read very well and maybe even classics in its own language sometimes may not able to transcend the barrier of of language. So choosing a story may also be very important from that perspective. And anyway, you nailed it. And the story, as you said, it's a balance with the folklore as well as at the modern take, right? That is going on side by side. And considering the fact that, in fact, the judges, they are not Bengali. Actually, who
No,
chose, so they don't know the language itself. So
no.
they brought different perspective, and still they could appreciate the story. That shows the strength of the story as well as translation, right? So having said that, I mean, as you also referred to other translations, so what other translation projects that you were involved with?
Uh, well, I have translated stories authored by Said Munzur Islam, Shahaduzzaman, Shaheen Akhtar, Mujaffar Hussain, Aditi Falguni, Zafar Iqbal, Humayun Ahmed, Shomen Chondo, Zahir Raihan, Nasrin Jahan, and many other authors. And these have been published in dailies, magazines, and anthologies. I'm basically always trying to find opportunities. Next year, a few of my translations are coming out in a couple of anthologies.
Oh, that's excellent. Excellent to hear. So I'm sure with your skill on this art, a lot of Bengali stories will see different language readers very soon. So thanks for all the details, Nora. But before we end, the Anthony would like to hear if you follow the magazine, and is there something that you want the magazine to work on?
I think that the Antonym is doing really well. It's doing a really fantastic job um, when it comes to including global literature and appreciating global literature. So, for instance, recently I read a little memoir, which was actually one of the winners of the October creative nonfiction contest. And it was lovely. It was about how the author, it was the author reminiscing her girlhood, a time when she felt like she didn't belong. She had this lack of sense of belonging because of her uh, Armenian Orthodox identity, and she was living in a neighborhood of Catholic folks. So this story, this little memoir, it was very foreign, but at the same time, very relatable. Because, I belong to a minority group myself. I'm a practicing Baha'i living in a predominantly Muslim nation. So I really enjoy pieces like that. They may be foreign, but at the same time, I can relate to them. So I think the Antonym is doing a really fantastic job in including and appreciating literature from all over the world.
Okay, thanks for those nice comments, Noora, and thanks for joining us today for this short conversation.
My
Hopefully,
pleasure.
with that background, the readers who reads the translation, they will be able to appreciate all the hard work that has gone behind it. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.